doctor warns of the #1 cause of stroke and heart attack that every senior must know. The real cause behind most strokes isn't what you've always been told. We're often taught that high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, or cholesterol are the main culprits. And yes, they do play important roles, but they're only the tip of the iceberg. Because behind those numbers, behind the headaches, fatigue, dizziness, or shortness of breath, lies a much deeper mechanism, one that may have started years, even decades before a stroke ever occurs. I once spoke with a heart surgeon who told me something I'll never forget. Almost 100% of the patients I operate on have a thick layer of visceral fat surrounding their heart. That's not a coincidence. That fat didn't appear out of nowhere. It's the result of silent, long-term metabolic changes that slowly unfold inside the body. And here's what's most striking. High blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, visceral fat, these all have one thing in common. They often start with the same hidden trigger, a root cause very few people talk about: insulin resistance. This is where it all begins. When your body starts resisting insulin, the hormone that helps regulate blood sugar, it sets off a cascade of harmful biological reactions. Your kidneys are told to hold on to salt and water, leading to steadily rising blood pressure. Your immune system stays chronically activated, causing low-grade, silent inflammation. Your blood vessels and heart tissue begin to sustain damage, opening the door to atrial fibrillation. And visceral fat rapidly accumulates, especially around the heart and liver, interfering with your body's ability to repair itself. Think of insulin as a key and your cells as doors that need to be unlocked for energy to get in. But when your body becomes insulin resistant, the locks no longer respond to the key. To cope, your body floods the system with more spare keys, meaning insulin levels keep rising. The result? Years of high insulin without symptoms, fueling inflammation, high blood pressure, and fat metabolism problems, all converging on one outcome: stroke. The good news is you don't need a blood test to find out if you're at risk for insulin resistance. Your body has already been giving you warning signs. They're just often overlooked or mistaken for normal aging. In the next part of this video, I'll share the 7 most important clues to help you detect insulin resistance early, before it turns into a stroke or heart attack. And at the end, you'll learn about the 3 core pillars that have helped many people reverse this condition and reduce stroke risk without relying on medication. Now let's take a closer look at the 7 signs your body may already be sending you. Number 1, a growing waistline. This is the #1 sign. For men, a waistline over 40 inches, or for women over 35 inches, is a major red flag. This measurement isn't just about the fat you can pinch under your skin. It reflects the dangerous visceral fat that's wrapping around your internal organs. 2, the appearance of skin tags or dark skin patches. Those small, fleshy growths that often appear on the neck, in the armpits, or in the groin area are a classic sign of high insulin levels. Similarly, dark, velvety patches of skin in these same areas, a condition called acanthosis nigricans, are another outward signal of an internal problem. 3, your blood pressure starts to creep up. Maybe your doctor has mentioned your numbers are a little on the high side, for example, 135/85, and has told you to keep an eye on it. This is not a random event. As mentioned before, high insulin directly tells your kidneys to retain salt and hardens your arteries, pushing your blood pressure up. 4, abnormal blood fat numbers on your lab results. If your blood test shows that your triglycerides are high and your HDL, the good cholesterol, is low, that's a telltale combination that almost guarantees you have insulin resistance. 5, you struggle to lose weight, especially belly fat. Insulin is the fat storage hormone. When its levels are always high, your body is essentially locked in storage mode. No matter how little you try to eat, your body is extremely reluctant to burn the fat it already has. 6. You often feel hungry and can't go long between meals. Do you find yourself needing to eat constantly, or do you get shaky and irritable, hangry, if you miss a meal? This is caused by blood sugar swings. High insulin makes your blood sugar crash after you eat, triggering intense hunger and powerful cravings for sweets or carbs. It's a vicious cycle. 7. Feeling tired and sluggish after a meal. It is not normal to feel like you need a nap after a carb-heavy meal, like a big bowl of pasta or a plate of rice. That's a sign of a massive insulin surge released to handle all that sugar, which then causes your energy to plummet. If you have 2 or more of these 7 signs, please consider it a serious wake-up call. High blood pressure and atrial fibrillation are the first smoke alarms. They're not separate diseases that appear out of nowhere. They are the direct consequences, the emergency signals your body is forced to send after years of fighting against constantly high insulin levels. Taking a pill to lower blood pressure without fixing the root cause, insulin resistance, is like mopping the floor while the sink is still overflowing. You might manage the mess for a little while, but you never fix what's causing the flood. When you are insulin resistant, and this hormone level is always high, your kidneys get a constant signal to hold on to salt. Salt holds on to water. More water in your bloodstream means higher blood volume, which puts tremendous pressure on your blood vessel walls, like a balloon being blown up to its breaking point. A healthy blood vessel is soft and flexible. High insulin levels, however, are a powerful source of inflammation. This chronic inflammation attacks and damages the delicate inner lining of your arteries. Over time, this damage turns into plaque, making your once flexible pipes hard and narrow. Pumping blood through a hard, narrow plumbing system requires much higher pressure. High insulin also puts your body on constant high alert, making your heart beat faster and causing your blood vessels to constrict. It's a state of prolonged physical stress that pushes your blood pressure even higher. This is one of the reasons many people mistakenly believe that mental stress is the root cause of stroke. Insulin resistance is the main cause of visceral fat, including the layer of fat that surrounds your heart, known as pericardial fat. This fat is far from harmless. It acts like a living organ, constantly leaking inflammatory substances directly onto your heart muscle. This irritation makes your heart more likely to develop an irregular rhythm. This is one of the most direct causes of atrial fibrillation. Now that you understand the #1 cause of stroke, we'll move on to the 3 pillars of prevention, learned from people who have successfully reversed their risk. But first, if you're finding this video helpful, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel to show your support. Pillar 1. Be mindful of what you eat. The golden rule for putting out the fire of insulin resistance is actually very simple. We have to stop pouring fuel on it. The fuel is any food that causes your insulin levels to spike. Let's start with the biggest enemy we need to face: sugar in all of its forms. Sodas, candy, desserts, and even boxed fruit juices are like sugar bombs, causing an insulin tidal wave the moment you consume them. Right alongside sugar are its cousins, refined carbohydrates. White bread, pasta, white rice, and most sugary breakfast cereals are broken down by our bodies into sugar almost instantly. They trigger an insulin response that's no different than eating straight sugar. And there's another silent culprit that many people overlook: industrial seed oils like soybean, corn, or canola oil. When used frequently, they cause inflammation at a cellular level, making insulin resistance even worse. So once we've cut back on the harmful stuff, what should we fill our plates with? Think of the brave firefighters. These are quality proteins like meat, fish, and eggs, which keep you feeling full with very little impact on insulin. There are healthy fats, the good friend we've misunderstood for so long. It's time to stop being afraid of the natural fats in avocados, olive oil, nuts, and real butter. They provide a clean and steady source of energy that does wonders for stabilizing your blood sugar.
And of course, we can't forget fiber-rich vegetables. They act like a protective shield, slowing down digestion and keeping everything in balance.
Pillar 2. When you eat. Our bodies, especially our digestive systems, weren't designed to be working constantly. The modern culture of snacking and eating many small meals throughout the day is one of the main reasons our insulin levels are always high. Every single time you eat, even just a little bit, you trigger an insulin response. To reverse this, you have to give your body a priceless break. The most powerful tool for this is called intermittent fasting, but that sounds much more complicated than it really is. At its simplest, it just means narrowing your eating window. Start with an easy goal. Finish dinner by 7 p.m. and don't eat anything again until 7 a.m. the next morning. You're asleep for most of that time anyway. One of the most impactful changes you can make is to completely cut out snacking between meals. This creates golden periods of time for your insulin to come down, giving your body the chance to switch from fat storage mode to fat burning mode. Pillar 3. How you move. Your muscles are like giant sponges, hungry to soak up sugar from your bloodstream for fuel. When you use them, they do this job efficiently, without needing much help from insulin. There's one exercise that's incredibly effective but often overlooked: taking a simple 15-minute walk right after your main meal of the day. This simple act immediately shuttles the sugar from your meal into your muscles to be used as energy, heading off a big, unnecessary insulin spike. On top of that, don't forget strength training. You don't need to become a bodybuilder. Simple exercises using your own body weight or even light dumbbells at home are more than enough to build and maintain precious muscle mass. Every bit of muscle you build acts as a new storage tank for sugar, helping your body become responsive to insulin once again. When you make these deliberate changes, you aren't just trying to lower a blood pressure number or improve a lab result. You are fundamentally rewiring your entire metabolism. You are actively putting out the fire at its source, and that is the single most powerful and profound stroke prevention strategy you can ever take. Be sure to watch our other videos on the early warning signs of stroke and how to prevent them, right here on our channel.